Hi, and welcome to Positive Pets with MJ. I'm Melissa Vieira, but you can call me MJ, and I'm here with Shawn Flynn tonight. Shawn is the author of The Kitty Who Rescued Me After I Rescued Him. And Shawn came from Enfield, Connecticut. Welcome, Shawn. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on your program tonight, MJ. It's great to be here.
Thanks. So we have a lot to talk about tonight, and I'm really excited to talk about cats because I've been hoping to talk about cats for the last few episodes. I'm glad you've joined me for that because you're the perfect person to discuss cats.
One of my favorite subjects.
Now, were you always a cat lover?
I'm a big animal lover. I certainly always loved animals.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of experience with cats until I met Kitty, and he's obviously who I wrote the book about. I wrote the book about all my cats, but primarily focusing on him since he was the first one I rescued.
And do you want to tell a little bit about how Kitty came into your life? It's kind of a unique story.
Sure, yeah. It's actually a great story,
Yeah.
MJ. Kitty was living in the backyard of the house that I currently live in, and I met him about 2 months before I moved into that house when I was walking through the backyard with the realtor. He was hanging out. Big bushy orange cat came over and rubbed up against my leg. He was real friendly. I didn't think anything of it. I thought he was a neighbor's cat.
Right.
I ended up moving into that house 2 months later. I moved in on a Saturday morning. I got home from work about 5:30 Monday night, and he was sitting on the front step like he was waiting for me to get home.
Oh, he was still there.
Absolutely, yep.
And then you started feeding him and started building a bond with him.
Sure did, yeah. It's a great story about how I met him, how our relationship developed over the course of several months, and essentially how I ended up falling in love with him and how he stole my heart.
Right.
He turned me into a cat person.
And that's kind of what happens, right? We think we're rescuing them, but really they have such an impact on our lives and they change our lives so much, those special animals that come into our lives.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's a super story. I've been getting great feedback about it. I won a couple of awards for it. I won a Reader's Favorite Award.
Yeah.
I was a finalist in the International Book Awards competition, and I've been getting great feedback. I got a Reader's Favorite 5-star review. Midwest Book Review gave me an awesome, glowing review, and I was also recently endorsed by New York Times best-selling author Gwen Cooper,
Wow.
who also writes cat books. So that's pretty exciting.
That is super exciting. And this isn't just for cat lovers. I mean, obviously, if you love cats, you're really going to enjoy this book. But if you love animals, or even if you just like stories, this is a really, really good story to check out. And of course, everyone knows I'm a dog lover. I love cats too, but I very much enjoyed the book about Kitty.
I'm glad to hear that. Really glad to hear that, MJ. That's great feedback to get. And that's certainly what I've been hearing from everyone who reads the book.
Now, Kitty has some food preferences, and when you were first, I feel like sometimes cats can be they're training us. So when you first started feeding Kitty, you would just kind of put the food out for him, and would he come over and eat while you were there, or you would go inside and he would just come eat overnight?
Well, certainly cats can be some cats can be finicky. Since he had been living in the backyard, according to my next door neighbor, for 2 or 3 years before I moved into the house. He had been eating mice and birds, things like that.
Yeah.
I suspect the neighbor may have been feeding him, but they probably weren't feeding him on a regular basis, and he could have been getting, different kinds of food or even potentially table scraps or something.
Right.
Some people do that. But when I first met Kitty, I was feeding him, the cat food from the box at the supermarket, which, the high-end supermarket cat food, and he seemed to like it. I later found out that's kind of like cereal or ice cream for cats. It's the
snack food.
Yeah, it's like the high carb, high sugar food, and they gobble that down. One night, when I was on my way home from work, I stopped to pick up some cat food for Kitty, and in the effort of trying to save a couple of bucks, I bought some generic cat food, and when I put it out for him, he totally snubbed his nose at it. He was not pleased.
And then you went right back to the store and fixed that situation.
Sure did.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, sure.
Now, when did you know that Kitty was really a part of your life and he was going to move into your home with you and be more than just kind of an outdoor neighborhood cat?
Well, our relationship developed over the course of several months.
Yeah.
I met him I told you, 2 months before I moved into the house that I currently live in. That was in April of the year I moved in. I moved in June. I was feeding him, all summer. He lived outside in the backyard. He would come over and hang out with me in the evening if I was hanging out on the back porch, or if I was doing yard work in the backyard, he would just come over and rub up against my leg, or, lay down in the grass and watch me do yard work or gardening. And he was real cool, and I that fall when it started getting cold out, I just decided what the heck, you need a place to stay inside. It's, obviously winters in New England can get pretty cold and snowy. So I installed one of those swinging two-way pet doors so he could sleep in the garage. Now, he was full of fleas and ticks, and I didn't want to let him into the house. And, and of course, he liked living outside, too.
He was used to it, yeah.
Absolutely. So I installed one of the swinging two-way pet doors. I put a big pillow over in the corner of the garage with a bowl of water and a bowl of food for him.
Right.
And he would be lying on his pillow every morning when I left for work.
Oh.
Yeah, so he didn't have a problem. It was funny. I actually had to show him how to use the swinging two-way pet door.
How did you do that? Did you try to go through it? Or?
Well, I certainly couldn't go through it, but I opened it up and I had to coax him to come through. He was on the porch. I was in the garage. I closed the door. Opened up the swinging two-way pet door, and I had to coax him to come through. So, but he caught on quick. He learned.
And something kind of funny happened in the beginning. I don't know if you want to talk about this, but he did leave your property and come back. So somebody had taken him.
Oh,
and
that was...
he chose to come back.
Yeah, that was a real interesting story.
Yeah.
That first night when I got home from work, when he was sitting on the front porch or the front step, I... went inside, and we had just moved in on Saturday. The water had been turned off by the water company during the day when I was at work. So anyway, I called around, found out, who I needed to speak with to get the water turned back on. And they came out to turn on the water, and they saw Kitty sitting on the front step.
Yeah.
And the guy said, "That's my cat."
Huh.
And he said, he asked me if I had adopted him yet. And I told him, no, I just moved in on Saturday.
Right.
And he said, "Well, can I have my cat?" And I said, "Well, he's not mine." And he handed me back my $175 check for the emergency service call. And, picked up Kitty, got in his truck, and drove off.
Yeah.
3 days later, when I got home from work, Kitty was sitting on my front step.
Kitty
once
was
again.
Back. And I guess it was meant to be because he never came back looking for kitties.
Absolutely.
And you had a free water bill.
That's right.
So that really worked out in your favor.
Absolutely, yeah. He helped me there. That's for sure.
Now, Kitty kind of started a trend in your household. You started rescuing other cats as well.
That's right, yeah. Kitty made me develop a real soft spot in my heart for abandoned cats.
Yeah.
Certainly stray cats as well, but especially abandoned cats. Right. Because unfortunately, in this day and age, people, move into an apartment complex. They have these transient living situations. Yeah. Of course, they think cats are cute. They get a cute little kitten. The kitten grows up into a cat.
Right.
A year or two later, they might be moving to another living situation.
And they just kind of leave them behind.
Yeah. Where they can't bring cats.
Yeah.
So they, just open up their door and kind of, okay, you can fend for yourself. Oh, it'll fend for itself like squirrels do.
Right. They don't get it.
Yeah. And it's a tragedy. It's actually a tragedy.
I hope no cats are listening because they're all going to show up at your house now. You take some cats.
well, during the recent financial crisis, I understand that pet abandonment was at an all-time high.
Yeah.
Because people had difficulty, paying the vet bills and paying the, having to buy, pet supplies, cat food or dog food or whatever.
Right.
But
it's definitely something to plan for when people get a pet. I mean, these are things they add up, and if you don't think about that in the beginning, then what's going to happen to the pet later on? So,
pet ownership is expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yep, that's for sure. Now, do you find that there's challenges with taking in abandoned cats? Do they have any behavioral issues, or do you feel like they're almost grateful in a way, like they appreciate?
Well, certainly, all cats have their own unique personalities.
Yeah.
So, some are more gentle. Some are more, aggressive. Certainly when you introduce a new cat into a home where you already have cats, there's always some issues for several weeks where, want, especially if they're male cats, where, they have to vie for alpha kitty status.
Right.
So, there's some potential fights and stuff like that and disagreements. And, you have to kind of like, when you're introducing cats that haven't been together, you kind of have to supervise them.
Work through it and baby steps, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, if anyone has any questions, feel free to call in 508-996-0500. Shawn and I will be glad to answer any questions or just chat about cats because we like to do that.
That'd be great. One of my 2 favorite things to talk about.
Yeah. Now, how many cats do you have now?
I currently have 4 cats.
4 cats.
Yes.
And do they all cuddle with you at night, or is there like one that's more cuddly than others?
Well, the one that cuddles with me the most is Girline.
Aww.
My the cat that was born in the garage.
Yeah.
She was born in my garage 9 years ago when a feral cat snuck in and had 3 kittens, and she was the surviving kitten. Yeah. I've known her since she was a day old. She's heard my voice since she was a day old. And I truly am her daddy.
Yeah, you have a really special bond with her.
I sure do. Yeah, I have a special relationship with all my cats, but I have an extra special one with her.
Yeah. And now, do the other cats get jealous that when you're with her? Or
No,
do they,
no,
they
no,
kind of
no.
just go and do their own thing?
Well, Gypsy maybe a little. He's a little needy. Gypsy can be needy, and he's a big male cat.
He's kind of the rascal of the bunch, if I understand, right?
Yes,
oh,
he
Gypsy.
is. Yes, he is. Yeah, he's my only cat that'll see what's in the trash can. To see what's hanging out in the trash can so you can get something extra to eat.
Does he figure out, have you like tried different trash cans and he just figures out how to open it up? And
well, it's the one in the kitchen.
Yeah, he gets right in there.
Well, I gotta, sometimes I leave the pantry door open. So, if there's nothing smelly in there, if, I just empty the trash, that's no big deal. But, if there's like a couple of chicken wings or chicken legs or something in the trash
can. It kind of cracks me up when pets are like naughty because that's what gives them their personality. People are like, you're a trainer. That's not funny. But I'm like, that's kind of funny. That's what makes them unique.
Yes, certainly all pets have unique personalities.
Yeah.
Some are sweeter and more gentle than others. Some are a little naughtier than others. And, Gypsy's, he's gotten better, certainly gotten better over the years. But when I first rescued him, he was a little naughty. Kitty actually helped me train him.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about cat shows. So that's really interesting to me. You go to a lot of cat shows.
I go to cat shows all over the Northeast. I've been to the Peace Lovin' Cats cat show in Auburn, Massachusetts. That actually was the first one I went to about a year ago.
Oh, wow.
That's coming up again next month in June, the weekend of June 9th and June 10th. It's the Cat Fanciers Federation Peace Lovin' Cats National Cat Show at the Horgan Arena in Auburn, Massachusetts.
Excellent. Now, you'll be there all weekend if
I will.
people want to stop by and
I will. I'll
check out your book?
Yeah, I'll be signing copies of my book all weekend.
Awesome.
And, I go to cat shows all the time. I've been to the Boston International Cat Show in Cambridge a few weeks back. I went to the Seacoast Cat Club Cat Show in Concord, New Hampshire, the weekend after the Cambridge show. I've been up to Maine, Augusta, Maine, for their cat show. I've been to cat shows in New Jersey. Actually, there's a cat show that runs in Edison, New Jersey in mid-July. That's the, let me see, what's the name of that one? That is coming up this July 21st and 22nd. That's the 82nd Annual Garden State Cat Show and Expo in Edison, New Jersey. And I'll be there all weekend signing copies of my book as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And if someone has never been to a cat show before, what is their reaction when they first walk in?
It's actually pretty cool. They, all the exhibitors, the cat owners are like prepping their cats for the cat show. They have different classes and different categories. And and they're grooming their cats and freshening up their cats. And
a lot goes into this. And I'm sure the cats love it too because they get used to it. They're getting all kinds of attention. So I'm sure they have no complaints.
Exhibitors spend huge money and huge effort on prepping their cats for cat shows.
And you see all different breeds at cat shows. So different cats that you might not see elsewhere, you'll see at a cat show.
Absolutely. The first time I met a Sphinx was at a cat show.
They're really amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Very, very cool. Yeah. First time I met a Sphinx was at a cat show in Connecticut I believe it was last August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
I've never actually met one in person. I've just seen pictures of them, so that must have been neat.
Oh, it was, absolutely. It was very cool. I've seen just about every breed of cat that is available.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Sphinx was the most unique breed I've ever seen.
What is their temperament like? Do you know? Are they pretty docile?
Well, he seemed cool, seemed mellow. Yeah. His owner brought him over, and I asked if I could pet him, and she asked me if I had touched any other cats since I last washed my hands. I told her I hadn't, so she said I could. She actually put him on my table.
Oh, wow.
So he was actually hanging on my table. I petted him, and it's just like petting any other cat, except he didn't have fur.
Yeah.
I actually have to admit, I prefer the fur.
Now, do your cats play fetch at all? I've been meaning to ask you this. Do they like to fetch toys?
It's funny. I have a cat. Well, she doesn't necessarily fetch, but she likes to play with tin foil if I take, or aluminum foil. If I take aluminum foil and roll up in a ball and roll it on the
Best
floor.
Toy.
Oh, she'll chase that and play with that for hours.
So cats do fetch.
She won't necessarily pick it up and bring it back to me.
Yeah. Sometimes, if she wants to, right? I find like some people say the joke like cats are more where they're staff, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that too. Yeah, we are their caretakers.
Yeah, exactly. But they know what they're doing, and they care for us very much, I think. I believe the animals in our lives care for us. It's not just like, hey, feed me, and that's all that matters.
No, absolutely. I firmly believe cats were put on this earth to help comfort their human companions.
And they're amazing. Isn't there something, and I could be wrong about this because I'm not fact-checking, I think I've read something about this, but a cat's purring actually has healing effects. I don't know if you've ever heard about that.
I absolutely have. Yeah, I absolutely have. There's a, and I don't recall it verbatim, but there's an old veterinary adage that, if you put a broken bones in a room with a bunch of cats, the bones will heal themselves. Huh. And that's a paraphrase. That's not verbatim.
It's quite amazing, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Cats. Purrs actually. Obviously, cats have different purrs or different variations of their purrs, and I don't know exactly what the frequency is, but there's a range that is beneficial for actually helping to heal like soft tissue and bone. And cats actually purr not only when they're like happy to see their humans or when they're happy to be with their mother if they're kittens, but they also purr to self-soothe. So when they have injuries, when they're not feeling well, they'll purr to self-soothe themselves.
Huh. And as a groomer, I'm going to have to ask you all the grooming questions, too. I think you have one cat that really likes brushing, right? Or maybe a couple of them really enjoy
squeakers.
it.
Squeakers.
Do they purr while you brush them?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Squeakers.
Yeah.
How did Squeaker get the name, if you want to share that?
He squeaked when I picked him up the first time.
So cute. Squeakers. That's a perfect name for a cat.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as far as haircuts and taking your cats to the groomers, you have a favorite like short summer trim for your long-haired cat.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners what that looks like?
That's the lion cat. Yeah. There's a picture of it in the book.
And it's cute. They have like this big fluffy head, and then sometimes we'll leave like the paws a little longer and the tail.
Yeah, it looks like they're wearing boots.
Right. It can make the long-haired cats a little easier to care for when it's summertime and they require a lot of brushing.
Absolutely. Well, the long-haired cats, if you don't get them groomed or brushed or trimmed, then their hair will get matted, and I actually refer to them as dreadlocks.
Right. He might be trying to grow his dreadlocks on purpose, but that's not happening. Now, before you brought Kitty home, you had talked about you brought Kitty to the groomers and the vets. Do you find like that, is that kind of like for a dog owner, when you go and buy that first collar or that first leash, you know, like that's it, they're mine. Was that kind of that moment for you?
Well, certainly, Kitty and I mean, our relationship progressed over the course of several months.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he was mine. Once I took him to the vet that first time, that Saturday, to get him his shots, get him cleaned up, get him his tests, make sure he didn't have, you know, a feline leukemia or FIV or any of the you know, feline diseases. You know, I got him his test. I got a stool sample tested. He didn't have, actually, he did have worms, so I had to give him a deworming medicine for several weeks.
How did he feel about that?
Well, he didn't like it.
Oh, poor Kitty.
But yeah, he came. I mean, once I took him to the groomer, got him cleaned up, and the vet, and brought him home, and I knew he was gonna be in it. I mean, he never tried to get out once.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was mine. Yeah.
I think he knew that first day you went to look at the house. He's like, "Yep, that's it."
I was a big fat
I'm
mark.
moving in with you. Now, before you had Kitty, you had said you had other cats growing up, but you also had dogs as well.
Sure did.
And did you have like any certain dog that you had a special relationship with, like Kitty, or?
Well, when I was a teenager, we had an Irish setter. We got her.
Oh.
I think I was 9 or 10 years old when we got her. We got her as a puppy, and we had her for probably 11 or 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And, family dog, real great dog. I think she passed away when I was 19 or 20.
Oh, wow.
So we had her for about 11 years or so. And great dog, great family dog. I mean, I grew up with Brandy. And before that, we had a Brittany Spaniel.
Oh, nice.
And that was a great dog, too.
Sporting dogs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I'm a big fan of, all pets, not just cats, not just dogs, but all animals.
All animals.
Yeah, absolutely.
Skunks, too.
Sure. Yeah, one summer I raised 5 baby skunks when their mother had gotten hit by a car in front of the house.
Oh.
And I got home from work one night. I saw the mother skunk on the road. Didn't think much of it. You see animals on the road quite often.
Right.
And I got home the following night, and I got out of my truck, and there I heard all the squeaking coming from underneath the bushes. So I went over, to investigate, and I saw these 5 little tiny baby skunks. And so I started feeding them. I fed them all summer, or a puppy chow. Fed them puppy chow with a bowl of water and a bowl or a paper plate of vanilla yogurt, so they'd have something creamy. And the end of the summer, they started to, fend for themselves. I would see them digging for grubs in the neighbor's yard, and so they started to fend for themselves. And Mother Nature was smiling on me that summer.
Yeah.
My nickname was Skunk Daddy.
Now it's Cat Daddy, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That must have been really cool to watch the skunks play too and interact with each other as they're growing up.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't have any videos. That was the days before, cell phone video cameras and stuff like that. So, I mean, I have still images of, the cats standing next, or I'm sorry, not the cats, the skunks standing next to my feet.
Oh, wow.
Eating out of their food bowl. I never actually picked them up because I didn't want to. I wasn't planning.
For obvious reasons.
Well, also for their own safety and well-being. I didn't want them to be domesticated animals. I wanted them to grow up and be able to fend for themselves and live in the wild.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So that was certainly one of my goals of taking care of them that summer.
Now, what's the best part about after a long day, you come home to your cats and they're just interacting with each other or playing? What's the best part about just kind of getting to watch them and just be a part of that?
Well, probably when I get home, I come home and I come in the back door. They're all waiting there for me, and they're very excited to see me, and it's very cool, and certainly, obviously, that they know it's going to be dinner time soon too.
Yeah, right.
But
they're excited to see you.
Absolutely,
though.
They're excited to see me. Absolutely, so that's always a cool thing.
Yeah. And then what's your routine? Do they kind of hang out with you, or do they want you to play and throw foil balls for them?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's kind of up to them, right?
Yep. But they usually, just kind of hang out until it's dinner time, so.
Yeah. So we have a few minutes left, and I want to make sure we go over all the places people can find you and find your book. This is a really great story for anyone who loves cats or loves pets, or you just want to read something that's a great story. Then check it out. So where can people buy your book? Let's start there.
Well, it's certainly available from the usual channels like Amazon.com. People can either order the paperback or download the Kindle version. It's also available from Barnes & Noble. Most of those in Connecticut and many in states that border Connecticut actually have it in stock. People can also go to barnesandnoble.com and get the paperback, or they can download the Nook version if they use the Nook reader. It's in many independent bookstores in north central Connecticut and western Massachusetts, and obviously it's available on the internet all over the world.
Yeah, so if you want to check it out, just you type it in, you'll definitely find it. It's not hiding.
The Kitty Who Rescued Me After I Rescued Him.
By Shawn P. Flynn.
Absolutely. It's a great book. We also got some events coming up. This Saturday, May 26th at 1 p.m. we'll be at the Barnes & Noble in Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, good.
And Sunday, May 27th at 1 p.m., we're going to be at the Bank Square Books in Mystic, Connecticut. And the weekend of June 9th and 10th, we'll be at the Cat Fanciers Federation Peace, Love, and Cats National Cat Show at the Horgan Arena in Auburn, Massachusetts. And I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go check out the cat show. I'm really interested.
That would be very cool. Yeah, it's not too
by.
far. Saturday, July 14th at 1 p.m., we're going to be at the Book Lovers Gourmet in Webster, Massachusetts. The weekend of July 21st and 22nd, the 82nd Annual Garden State Cat Show and Expo in Edison, New Jersey. The weekend of August 25th and 26th, we're going to be at the Cats Ahoy Cat Club Cat Show in Windsor, Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. Yeah, very cool. And we actually recently had an event at the Barnes & Noble in Smithfield, Rhode Island. And that was so successful that we sold over 30 books in just a few hours.
Awesome.
And have been invited back at some point in the next month or two for a date to be determined. But I always got events popping up at either bookstores or cat shows. I do a lot of other things like craft fairs and stuff like that too. So we're always setting stuff up.
Where is the best way to find out about your upcoming events? Is that on your Facebook, Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of internet posting. On Facebook, people can reach out to me at Shawn Flynn. My avatar is the cover of my book. Or they can reach out to me at ShawnFlynn.author. That's my author page. And that's, of course, ShawnFlynn. Or people can send me an email if people want to shoot me off an email at ShawnPFlynn@yahoo.com. Right. And my Instagram account is Shawn Flynn Author. No underscores, no dots, just Shawn Flynn Author, one word. And people can reach out to me on Instagram if they like as well.
Yeah, and you share lots of cat pictures on there as well.
Sure
and
do.
Pet pictures, so that's great to see.
Sure do.
Do you have any last words for our audience? Anything about if you're planning to get a cat or if you already have a cat, just how to make that special?
Well, I would say if people want to get a cat, make sure you've really thought it through.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand you're making a lifelong commitment. You're committing to the life of that cat. I mean, it's not just going to be for a year or two if you live in an apartment that allows cats.
Right.
It's not going to be just for a year or two, until the cat grows from a kitten into a full-grown cat, and it's not as playful and like it was when it was a kitten. Although adult cats can still be pretty playful too, but that's very important to consider. Yeah. They have to understand that they're making a lifelong commitment,
right?
And very important.
I agree with that. And even if you get a cat that has some kind of behavioral problem or some kind of problem, I mean, that's your cat, and it's your job to really work through that and stick with them. That's your buddy, your partner.
That's right.
Same for any pet, really.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Shawn, for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot about cats, and I'm excited because I think I'm going to go to that cat show coming up. So that'll be fun.
Very cool. Well, thanks for having me on your show.
Yeah, no problem.
MJ, it was great being here, and I look forward to seeing you in Auburn.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
This is Positive Pets with MJ. You can find me at mjspettrainingacademy.com. Stay positive.